What's up, y'all? It's your boy Niner Faithful. How's everybody doing? Hope everyone is having a legendary day. Um, we got Jason waiting in the groom room. We're gonna go ahead and preview Niners defensive draft. Okay, so hopefully this is. I had to do some off-screening stuff. It's trying to say that we ran out of storage, so hopefully that fixed it. We got Jason waiting in the green room. Before we get started today, of course, we got to remind you, help out Niner Faithful Radio by using our shop49ers.com affiliate link. Link is in the description of this podcast or video. Go to SeatGiant.com. Use the promo code Niner Faithful Radio to save all your theater, concert, and sporting event tickets, as well as help out the show. Follow us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Tumblr at Niner Faithful Radio and Twitter at Niner Faithful R. And to see everywhere you can subscribe to the show, go ahead and visit NinerFaithfulRadio.com/subscribe. And stay tuned to the end of the show for a special 10% off of the For the Faithful by the Faithful Season 2 apparel. Ladies and gentlemen, faithful of all ages, let's get the show cracking.
Rice has just set a Super Bowl record with 12 catches. He's in motion. Montana, touchdown, John Taylor.
What's cracking, Jason? How you doing, bro?
What's up, brother? How's it going? It's another nice day here.
Oh, yeah, you know, it's a legendary day. I ain't gonna lie, I'm tired as hell, bro. I ain't gonna even lie to y'all. Was a rough day at work. So,
You and me both.
yeah.
I had freight that ended up in London that was supposed to go right down the street.
Man. Okay, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't got nothing that tops that, bro.
The good part is that it was only beef jerky.
Oh, there you go. Could be a lot worse. So I think first a little Niner housekeeping. We went ahead and did sign a third quarterback or fourth quarterback, but third that will be in practice here in a few days. I don't know much about him except apparently Joe Burrow, sorry, swears by him.
Can everybody calm the fuck down? He's a camp body, for fuck's sakes.
I mean,
God damn. People have been freaking the hell out about this fucking signing. It's like, Jesus.
You know what, to me, this is the way I look at him is that, I mean, let's look at Josh Johnson before he got hurt. And he did look better before he got hurt. He did look better. It looked like we were going to go on a little something.
Oh, at the end of the second quarter of that game?
Yeah. But if this quarterback plays, we got some serious issues. Because I think the thing that hurt the worst and what eventually made me heal was, would I rather have what happened in the NFC Championship game happen, or by some miracle win that game, and just get obliterated in the Super Bowl?
But Jimmy might have been ready by come Super Bowl, depending, with all the reports and what's going on.
Okay, fine.
He might have been ready.
Okay, let's be real. Jimmy would have been out there just because it's like, Jimmy, you have no choice. Yeah. Like, whether you're ready to go or not, it's like you're either abandoning your team, which, that's going to have whatever repercussions, or, you're just going to have to risk going out there before you're ready to try to win a fucking championship.
Yeah.
I mean, like
break my ankle and give me a shot.
Like for real. So I mean, I'm not like, of course we said this about Brock Purdy, but let's be real. We've got significant future issues. What's up, media? How you doing, bro?
Yeah, brother.
We've got significant issues if this dude plays, because what happened to Brock Purdy?
What happened to Trey Lance?
Because it was either
Sam Darnold?
play based. It was either play based or injury based, which neither one is great. What happened to Sam Darnold? Because either that was play based or injury based. I'm going to guess more likely play based. And then what happened to Trey? Or ultimately, did we trade him? And now we look like idiots because, you know.
Yeah, everybody just needs to calm down.
So to me, it's a non-relative factor, because our issues are beyond his ability as a quarterback. Our issues are now focused on, okay, this is not sustainable. Like you know,
I mean, we needed.
We can't keep going through three quarterbacks.
We need another. We all knew we needed another camp body to throw to these guys. Whether it be we pick up somebody, late in the seventh, kind of a thing, or we got somebody at free agency. We knew that somebody was going to get picked up, just to throw the ball to these guys in practice and mini camps coming up. So why is everybody freaking out?
And it was clear once they didn't draft. That tells you, okay, Trey's going to be on the team.
Yeah.
Once they didn't draft a quarterback, or at least use a significant pick. If they would have drafted one in the seventh or whatever. But so clearly what that means to tell me is they don't think that there was a quarterback available in this draft that's better than Trey. I think that's positive for Trey Lance. Let's see. We signed. Oh, the schedule will be released Thursday. So next week we will have the schedule breakdown for you.
We should figure out by then if we're going to do a game together.
Yeah.
Well,
you said so it'll be me coming up there. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
Because depending on when it is. But
the Vegas thing isn't for sure. The Vegas isn't for sure.
We're not going to Vegas this year.
No. The Dolphins are going to Vegas, and so
so you're going to Vegas. Okay.
So yeah, that might be one. You could come to the Vegas.
It might be fun going out to Vegas. Bubby wants to go out to Vegas.
Anyways,
less pressure on her because in theory we don't have to go to the game.
Yeah.
In theory, it'd just be like, look, babe, we're want to have a little bit of boys' time, and then we can go kick it at a booking for to watch the Niner game or something. Maybe put a little money down on the Niners, depending on who we're playing that week. But anyway, so D lineman, a tight end, and which the tight end to me is very intriguing, because I almost think they only go with 3 tight ends this year.
Yeah, but then we can have a whole show like every other week about what we think on tight ends, because there's so many options.
Yeah. Because to me, because Latu is going to stay on here. You know that. They're going to give him at least a year. He's going to get a redshirt year this year.
Yeah.
He might play for scrimmage. He might be inactive. And then I almost think they might. I almost think it's going to be between Dwelley and Warner. Because you figure if Latu's inactive, if you just say, hey, we're going to give you a redshirt year, make you inactive, you're going to want to have – they got to have some type of veteran presence. Anyway, we'll get to that later. But Yeah, Ross. I think Ross Dwelly's time on this roster is short.
Yep.
Isaiah Winstead. Jason, you know anything about him?
Not much, to be honest. Just what I've seen on there.
Well, in 13 games at Eastern Carolina in 2022, he registered 88 receptions for 185 yards and 6 touchdowns.
I mean, the tape looks impressive. He's got great size, which is something we really don't have.
I basically heard everybody says, yeah, slow 40, but I'm like, if you told me he's a receiver that's used as a tight end ish, slot, big slot in the red zone, I think he's going to be something intriguing.
He's got really good hands from the highlights that I've seen. Like I like the way he catches with his hands and everything. He's got long arms, all that. Like I said, it's the speed. It's slow. So he's got like the size of DK Metcalf, but he's not quite as fast, from what I can see.
Well, yeah, because if he was that fast, he would have been available. He would have been drafted.
Yeah.
But so I'm intrigued. What we get like I said, we'll get into this later because receiver is curious. Because I like Ronnie Bell, but I've been hearing whispers of people saying like not necessarily anti-Ronnie Bell, just okay, so who is he making this team over?
Yeah.
And it's like, is he gonna make it through waivers? But I'm like,
okay,
so he's not like so I would have to make somebody's 53, but I'm like, okay. I mean, if he just looks totally horrible, like this is why not going through preseason matters, because I mean, if he drops everything in sight and can't get open and is getting tossed around and ragdolled, and okay, yeah, he's going to be available to be on the practice squad. But Jair Brown. Okay, Jason, this one, to me, this is the essential pick of what I wanted this draft to be, which is not for this year, but for next year.
Yeah.
Jason, go ahead and you got the graph, so go ahead and break it down.
All right, so with this guy, we'll start with the cons. He's not fluid consistently. He kind of plays up and down. He doesn't have great speed. That's been one of the big knocks of why he fell, because he doesn't have high-end speed. And he has that same mentality as Hufanga, where sometimes he will overplay something, run past something, trying to get the, and just overplay it. But we take those shots with Hufanga. So do you want them both on the field trying to make those plays at the same time, or do you want someone out there, two guys out there who are just going to constantly go for those type of plays, and maybe once twice a game give up those big runs, or instead you have someone like Gibson who stays back and plays the safe version of it. He's got versatility. He can play all over, so he's definitely a Ward type replacement. He's got great instincts. Again, he's got the interceptions and all. He breaks on balls really good. He comes with a ton of energy, and he's a physical tackler. He will get his head in there. He doesn't do much of that arm tackling BS that has become so prevalent across the league in general. He will put his head in you and hit you. You'll know when you're being hit by him.
Why I'm fired up about this pick is for years people have said about our safeties. We don't have safeties that make plays.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it cost us the NFC Championship game for us to realize that we needed this. Now, yet again, bravo, Lynn Shahan, because what? You saw that it was an issue, so you addressed it.
Mm-hmm.
You could make an argument about what they should have did, could have did, whatever. They clearly addressed it because, I mean, the number one thing I keep on hearing about Jair Brown is that he has ball skills. He's a turnover machine. He's going to create turnovers. One thing, if we saw about Talanoa Hufanga last year, he's going to create turnovers. And with our D, you can't tell me that this isn't a pick influenced by our D coordinator.
mean, even
So
with
I
leading
love
the
that.
league last year, it seems like we want more. You know what I mean? We lead the league in
Yeah.
lead the league in interceptions, and all they're saying is that's cool. We want more next year. We want more turnovers, more to win
Well,
the
because what
division.
did they tell themselves? If we would have got a turnover or two in the NFC Championship game, that game's different.
Yeah.
That's what it was going to take for us to win that ball game. When Brock Purdy went down, it was clear we were going to have multiple, probably defensive scores, or like we returned the ball to the 3-yard line type of turnovers to win that ball game. And that's awesome. I love it. Hungry. I want more. I want more turnover. You know, it's an essential pick because it's for next year and this year. I mean, if he doesn't get on the field, that's some issues. Let's be real.
Not necessarily. Gibson and Tufaga could just be playing amazing.
Well, they said they're going to play 3 safety sets.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, if he doesn't, it's not necessarily with him. Those two could just be playing at a high level once again.
Oh, well, yeah. But I'm saying if they play a 3 safety set and it's not Jair Brown as the third safety, that's some issues.
True.
You know, which I'm excited. I'm excited more, or not. I shouldn't say excited. I'm very intrigued by seeing the way that this defense is because D'Amico Ryan's obviously front 7, linebacker, defensive line, playing everything like that. But now I'm curious to see the secondary games we'll play. And as we obviously have the base of what our defenses is, the D line. That's never going to change. So we have that, the D line. Now we're going to see that D line with somebody who emphasizes the secondary.
Yeah. Even with Saleh, with the linebackers,
it's going to be.
We've had
even
different levels
linebackers
of everything.
So I'm really excited to see how this turns out. Players like Jair Brown. Listen to this. I found this stat for PFF. Jair Brown in coverage last season, 382 coverage snaps, 0 touchdowns allowed, a 56.3 passer rating in the Pac-10. So that's going against Michigan. That's going against Ohio State. That's legit.
Yeah.
That's damn good. So if the speed was an issue, obviously Steve Wilks would have said it. So he doesn't see the speed as an issue. He's a secondary specialist. Talanoa Hufanga, played at an all-pro level last year. That wasn't an issue with him. He has Jair Brown has a faster 40 than him.
Well, I think that's where the great instincts part comes in. Yeah, you might just keep covering somebody, over and over, for the most part. But all it takes is that one good instinct. Okay, let me go now, break on this ball. And all it takes is one with something like that.
I had a D coach who used to say all the time, speed without knowing what's cracking, Roberto. Good to see you, baby. I had a D coach that used to tell me all the time, if you don't know what you're doing, all that being fast does is means you get to the wrong place. It's faster. Like that's all that does. It means you just get quicker to the wrong place.
Yeah.
So that's where instincts, film study, things like that matter. And to me, when you're looking at the future, if you say Jair Brown, future starting safety, picked by John Lynch, Hall of Fame safety, and Steve Wilks, secondary specialist and D coordinator secondary specialist. The thing that excites me the most about it is that as they get older and your speed starts to slow, well, why was Richard Sherman able to play up until 2019 when his speed clearly wasn't there? Right? We saw it. His speed. Well, why was he able to play at an All-Pro, Pro Bowl level? Enough for it to take us to the Super Bowl because of his instincts. Because of instinct, film study. You see what I'm saying? Of course, 4.4 speed helps. But when you're 33, when you're 33 and that's gone, are you out of the league? Or are you able to be Richard Sherman? And that ultimately, that's how players get into the Hall of Fame. Is that anybody can have a 3, 4, or 5 year career. It's when you start losing those abilities that you had at 23. Are you still able to play at that high level because of your instinct, your knowledge of the game, your film's, dedication to the game of football? I watched a lot of interviews with him. Man, it seems like he was built for football. And ultimately, key thing, he wants to be here. He says, I feel like I was supposed to be a 49er. This is where I was supposed to be. That means something to me. I don't want players who don't want to be here. What did I say when Debo came out and requested his trade? I love you, Debo, but if you don't want to be here, I'll drive you to Mineta Airport myself, cuz.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when, look, I love Debo. What makes Debo special is his mentality. You feel me? Kyle gets him open. What makes Debo special, I believe Kyle can get any functional NFL receiver open. What makes Debo special is his mentality. It's very like a very defensive mentality as an offensive player. I'm going to take the pain to you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to get hit. I'm going to hit. That's what makes Debo special. We all agree to that.
That's why we all love him.
That's why we all love him. That's why I scream, tuck your chain. That's why he's knocking out niggas' mouth guards. You know what I'm saying? Like, God,
that's why Jalen Ramsey left and went to the other side of the country.
Oh, God, bro. Uh-oh. Oh, God, I love you some Debo, bro. Oh, man. I wish this was the 80s because Debo would stay forever. Okay, next defensive pick we got. Let me see. Hold on. My bad. Right here. Darrell Lunar Jr., 155 overall out of Southern Alabama. Everybody's been saying Ambry Thomas
you better watch
put on notice. Ambry Thomas was put on notice last year. Jason, go ahead and give us the graphic breakdown.
We'll start with the good side with Mr. Luder. So for him, he's got those really long arms, and if you put some braids on him, does not arms not remind you of a certain Uncle Sherman? Remember how long his arms were?
Look
one of the
how
best
long.
things. Yeah, look how like Sherman has that length on his arms to make those plays that we want. To stick your hand in there, just to knock balls away. So if you just look at his really good arm length, he's got good footwork. He's good at keeping up with him, for the most part. And to go along with it, Jameer Brown, he's got good timing when attacking. So he knows when to jump. He knows when to make that move to go get that pick, when to get get his hand in there. The cons on him would be the average speed. Again, he's not a burner, but obviously he's good. He's got enough speed to play. He is a little bit of an arm tackler, which kind of weird that we don't want arm tackles on this team, but we got somebody who does time to arm tackle at times. But you can be coached out of that. With him, he has really long strides because, as you can tell, if you look at his arms and his legs, he's really lengthy in both of those in both sets. So it makes it hard. So if he has to cut a lot, he has an issue getting things around. He's going to run a lot more like, say, Cap did. So he's got them long, but once he gets going, he's going to be go. Yep. The antelope type thing. He's not going to be the cheetah where you can cut here and there. That's where you possibly can beat him. But if he gets going, he's going to be one that can keep up with you.
So definitely playing on the outside. Like you're not playing him at nickel.
No.
He's strictly outside because he would get torched.
Yeah.
Playing nickel.
I would not like to see him up against like Ricardo Lockett.
Yeah.
He would be the one to cover.
Eats his lunch.
Yeah. This is somebody I would prefer him to, maybe go one-on-one with like DK, for instance, if we're playing the Seahawks. He's more likely to cover him than is Ricardo Lockett.
Physical, can keep up with him physically.
Yeah.
I think put his hands on him. You know who? I know he's not in the division anymore, but if he was, who I'd really like to see him line up against, D-Hop.
Yeah.
D-Hop, he would be. I think that would, like, obviously D-Hop would have him oversight, but with those long arms, I think he could. I think he could fuck with it, especially if you give him a year, to get in the NFL weight room.
Yeah.
And develop and everything like that, and it's the long arms. It's the long arms.
You can't teach that.
I think Steve Wilkes says, "Hey, look, I can teach him technique. I can't teach him how to have long arms."
Yeah.
I mean, bro, look at this boy. His arms reach past his knees.
I mean, he is squatted, but yes, definitely.
But I mean, that is great. So what? Okay, you figure even if he's not squatted, that's still got to go to what? At least your kneecaps?
Yeah, probably mid-thigh once he's fully standing up.
Maybe. That's crazy. All right, next, Jason.
All right, next we've got Robert Beal Jr., defensive line, Georgia.
This is one that I know, like, go ahead and break down the graphic, Jason, and then I'm going to go ahead and go on my rant.
All right, so one thing about this guy, he's got arms for days. He has like 6'11.5" or 3/4 wingspan. The man's got a 7-foot wingspan.
Yeah.
When you're talking about knocking down balls and getting stuff like that, that's amazing. He's got good inside moves, and then he also keeps good contained. So like we had talked about earlier, if he's just containing everybody and he pushes us back onto the inside, to Armstead, Hargraves and all those guys, excellent. That's all we want you to do. The downside is that in 5 years at Georgia, he only had 10 starts. Now Georgia also pushes out, defense, especially on the defensive side. They push out. It's like a machine or a factory there right now. He is a little slow on pursuit, so he's not necessarily going to catch anybody from behind. And definitely with the guys he's going to be going up with in the NFL, he needs better handwork on shedding off blocks while he's rushing the passer. And insert.
I love this pick. I love this pick because I tell you, okay, so the Georgia coach, when talking to John Lynch, said nothing about attitude, nothing about work ethic, nothing like that. Just sucked going backwards. Had better players in front of him. They could play 3 downs, etc. Like you said, some first round picks, they're producing. Some people say that 21 Georgia defense is one of the best in college football history.
Really was.
So this is a pick that you're telling me 5th round. Okay, 5th round, mind you. 5th round. That you have somebody that's what was his? Hold on, I'll pull it up right now. Let me see. It doesn't say it. Damn it! What was his 40?
I don't remember. You know who his play reminds me of, and it wasn't quite at the same intensity. Is like an Alden Smith. Just with that,
yeah.
Remember how long with his long arms? Remember how he just was able to get to like any ball thrown with him like a 20-foot radius. Somehow he was knocking down all over. So that's kind of the way he's built to me. Maybe it's not quite as heavy as Alden was, but the length on him, is just amazing.
So out of the fifth year, he's got 2 things you can't teach: long arms and speed. And Georgia said they'll have absolutely no problem if you ask him the things that we're going to ask him to do, which is set the edge and get after the quarterback. When look, you cannot praise Chris Kasarik, and when he's on the phone fired up saying, I can sleep a lot better now that we have you, what does that tell you?
Yeah.
This might be the best pick of the draft. If this can give the Niners job. If this can give the Niners ultimately the thing that I think would push us into a dynasty, which is somebody that on third down, when it matters the most, you know, we all know Nick Bosa is going to do his thing. To have somebody that is going to do their thing, fire off all that. Guess what? Last time we had that, we went to the fucking Super Bowl. This football team is better, right? I think we can say that. I would definitely take our offense now, especially you tell me George Kittle, CMC, Debo, Brandon Ayuk, Juwan Jennings.
Yeah,
maybe you could argue quarterback
for that one season, maybe
quarterback and running back.
No, I definitely
give running back.
I'd give this running back. CMC is so much more.
Okay, yeah, true. But besides CMC, so that but I think our offense now, defense potential. I like our defense potential better now. You have Nick Bosa coming off the best year of his career.
I like the rotation that we're probably going to get between him and Drake Jackson.
Everybody said that Javon Hargrave is a better pass rusher than Defoe.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. That's without a doubt he's a better pass rusher.
So I mean, and that what we were talking off air, Jason, that I think ultimately this pick is the best thing for Drake Jackson because Drake Jackson was looked at as the savior of the defensive line. Like, can Drake Jackson be the reason Nick Bosa ain't beat up halfway through the season? Because how much he's getting shipped and all that. And held and grabbed and pulled and twisted and
off the field it's called assault.
Yeah, off the field basically Nick Bosa is assaulted. Football anyway, we're not going to get on that rant. So it's ultimately releasing the pressure off of Drake Jackson. I love this pick. You take a coach. We all agree. Chris Kosar, best D-line coach in the NFL. You give him, hey, I could teach him the techniques. I could make him work on his hands. He's got Nick Bosa talked about how he was fired up to work with Nick Bosa. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, oh man, anybody who thinks this is a bad pick in the 5th round, bruh. The 5th round.
Could be a steal.
We're not talking about the 3rd round.
Could be the steal of the draft.
I honestly think, and I'm so high on Jair Brown, but I think because of impact, this might be the best pick of this draft. When we look back,
he's probably going to get more plays in. Let's be honest, with the rotation that we throw guys in and out, he'll have more chances, probably in the number of times he gets on the field to make more of a difference than Jair Brown does.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so hold on. I want to pull up our D-line right now. Hold on, where is it? Hold on, let me see.
You're checking out our lads.
Yeah, cool. Pull it up.
All right, let me put this up.
Because I'm looking at our D-line, and if you think, so what, we kept, what was it, 11 last year? While you look that up, I'm gonna open my window real quick. Give me a second. Yep. Okay, so right now you got Nick Bosa, Kerry Hyder, Austin Bryant, Alex Barrett, Drake Jackson, Clarence Farrell, and Robert Beal Jr. Austin Bryant probably doesn't even make this team if Beal is anything.
Yeah.
Probably Alex Barrett. So you figure you're gonna keep Nick Bosa, Kerry Hyder, because especially Kerry Hyder because he has inside out versatility. I'm gonna keep more straight D tackles because I have Eric Armstead and I have Kerry Hyder that can go inside out. And let's be real, Eric Armstead is going to play D tackle anyway.
Yeah, he's not moving. He's not moving outside from what he said.
He's an emergency edge. He's an emergency edge.
I think I saw an interview where I saw a statement that he made. He's like, I don't foresee myself going back outside unless absolutely necessary, which means if he, we'd probably have to be down to what, probably third string before we kick him outside, I would assume.
You're going to have to be, I believe you're going to have, if they don't like what they got from Beal, you're going to have to get to beyond Hyder.
Yeah.
But so he's going to play because Austin Bryant, I think Austin Bryant was brought in because we need edges. You feel me? So let's secure an edge to not very much, committed.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see where we're at from the draft. Oh, we got Beal. Okay, cool. Now, well, Brian's expendable if he shows anything in camp.
Yeah.
I'm excited to go to camp this year. It's going to be fun this year.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so next we've got D Winners. They're calling him Baby Dre Greenlaw.
Yeah, pretty much.
Jason, I have said this plenty of times, and I'll let you go ahead and give the breakdown, graphic breakdown in a second. I've said plenty of times the best coach position on this team is the linebackers. Just because of we've produced so much, and I love Azeez. Loved his story, undrafted free agent to be a starter. To be where we're honestly, let's be real. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of said I'd rather keep him because he plays more than Dre. I said it, but love Dre Greenlaw. But I'm just saying, Dre's kind of injured a lot. Which is why I think they were able to keep him.
A little bit cheaper.
Yeah, a little cheaper. So. But I'm fired up about this pick. And I know I keep on saying up about because if you tell me it was a tie between D Winners and Jalen Graham and we get both of them, then I'm like, okay, somebody's going to produce.
Yeah. It's a coin flip to get somebody.
The best position battle that's going to – oh, my God. The one-on-ones between running backs and linebackers this year are going to be so freaking beyond Nick Bosa and Trent Williams, the one-on-ones between the linebackers and running backs are going to be the most entertaining thing at training camp this year.
You say running backs, I'm going to say tight ends because I want to see how some of these tight ends go. So you know what I mean?
Yeah. Running backs, tight ends.
Yeah.
How does CMC versus Fred Warner?
Remember the catch that Juice made last year over Warner?
Yeah.
It's just some of the best stuff in camp comes out of those battles.
It's I'm gonna really try to get there early this year so I can sit up where Graham and them sit up because those are basically the only times you're gonna really see anything.
Yeah.
Maybe if I kiss up enough to Jordan, maybe I'll get a press pass somehow. I don't know.
Start kissing.
Kiss and play him ass. I mean, I've made it very known to my ticket rep, look, this is partly a business decision. You feel me? If I've got to just become a season ticket member to get in and to be noticed and to be certain things, then ultimately my dream would be able to do this as my job. You feel me?
Yeah.
So if I got to be a season ticket holder to do that, cool. And if worst comes to worst, I get to watch every Niner home game, then that's not a bad consolatory prize. So go ahead, do the graphic breakdown, Jason.
All right, so starting with we call him Baby Azeez because he's a little bit on the smaller side. He's not your quote unquote typical size for a linebacker.
Which is what we want.
He's hesitant when taking blocks. Obviously, he as being a little bit smaller, he doesn't want to take on tackles, take on blocks, which is a good thing because you don't want to be getting hit and moved out of the way. Probably needs to get a little bit better with his hands so he can shed those tackers so that he can start, making those reads. Because he's a little slow on his reads. Now, with that, because he's slow on his reads, but he's got really good closing speed. So he may not exactly see what's happening as fast as possible. But once he sees it, he is good at making up that distance and closing it. When he keeps his body in good position, which is why, when he's good, he's ready to go. It's just a little slow. One of the good things about him is that he can play both inside and outside. So even at his small stature, he's strong enough to be able to, something goes wrong with Fred, he can set the middle for a while. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so his versatility is something that's, again, with this, it has been shown on this team. They like people who are versatile and can play multiple positions at one time as he's moving around. The chess piece is moving constantly. And with his versatility, it's another good chess piece to have on that board.
I mean, and let's be real. If you're a backup, you have to be versatile.
Yeah.
That's the name of the game. Special teams. I'm interested into that. That's going to be the determining factor when we talk about this. They usually keep 5 backers, I believe. So when we talk about the 4 or 5 fifth backer, you're talking about special teams, which makes me say that you've got Odin or you've got, Flanagan Fowles.
Okay.
So really is him, and we'll get to Jalen Graham next. It's basically a battle between, I think, him and Jalen Graham and Marcel McCary-Ball, which I hate to say football.
2 of these linebackers are probably going to end up getting cut, and they're going to be picked up instantly. They will be signed before the ink dries on that. Oh, you know what?
It has to, we have to be giving them some mouthpiece or something, because teams have to be scouring our D-line. That's nothing new. And if teams aren't scouring our linebacking core, they're fucking idiots.
Yeah. So yeah, I can see some of these guys are going to end up on other teams, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. And I hope it's not McCary-Ball, because anyway, we'll get to that when we get to Jalen Graham. Go ahead, and that will be our last one, right?
Yep. Well, last one of the people that we actually drafted. We have the UFAs afterwards.
Well, yeah, UFAs.
UFA.
All right, go ahead and give us the graphic breakdown, Jay.
All right, with him, he's kind of the opposite of Winters. He takes on tacklers or blockers head on. So this is a guy that's going to be stuffing his face up in there to get those guys off. So they almost complement each other. He's a good wrap tackler. Again, he's one of those guys that, he's not going to just arm tackle you and hold on for dear life. No, he's going to put his head in your face or in your chest. High energy, he was a captain for a year. So he's a good leader, all that good stuff. Cons, definitely needs better hands, especially when trying to get off those tacklers or those blockers and with getting interceptions and stuff like that. Again, another guy who will overplay going for the big play. Kind of a headhunter at the same size. And then he also needs a little bit more size and strength. So still not quite – he's a little bit bigger than Winters, but he's still not your prototypical linebacker in the NFL. So we definitely need to get a little bit of size and strength on him. But again, with the overplay part, ends up being because he's going to hit you hard with that wrap tackling that he does. You're going to know he hit you when he hits you.
Well, and to me, that's all coachable.
Yes.
He has, this is not a draft, like special teams, practice squad, whatever. And let's be real. We're talking about our 6th and 7th round picks here, 6th and 7th round picks on this stacked roster that some would argue is the best roster in the NFL.
I think it's pretty much most guys are saying it's either us and the Eagles for who's got the best top to down roster.
Yeah,
nobody in the AFC.
are they going to get more value out of their draft this year? Yeah. But
especially with Jalen Carter.
But to me, I'm like, cool. You like the problem is they're a mirror image of us. Because I would say, do you have somebody to block Nick Bosa? Yeah, they kind of do. You know,
They got two. They're both their ends, or both their tackles are good.
Tackles are legit. You know, do you have somebody? Well, yeah, Trent ain't like, let's be real. Trent is Trent. Let's be real. You'll give the O line to them. They have a better O line overall.
Yeah.
They have a better O line than us.
Yeah.
I just like, to me, I put our receivers. So I just say, like, look, I still think we took the bigger hit. Like, they might, the Jalen Carter, the D lineman that they picked might overall benefit more than Jay Hargrave because he's on a cheaper deal and et cetera, et cetera. You can build around it, all that.
Yeah.
But to me, you did not replace Jalen Hargrave this year. So cool, talk to me about 3-4 years from now when, I mean, do you know who the quarterback is going to be 3-4 years from now? Like, I mean, we got some questions 3-4 years down the road. We'll get
their quarterback will be Jalen Hurts. He just signed a big ass contract. He
ain't
going nowhere.
So, but I mean, I would take Jalen Hurts. But the thing about it is, like, for this year, I still don't believe there's a team that I walk away from the draft. Even the Seahawks, everybody's saying the Seahawks, cool. Well, can you still stop Nick Bosa?
Well, their roster was so trash. Of course they got better.
I mean, so that's my thing about it is, like, I'm sorry. But to me, this defense is not getting built. Like, literally, he was 0-3. This defense is not getting built by Geno Smith. And at the end of the day, it's what we said during that 12. It seemed like we said almost every week during that 12-game winning streak last year. Most teams don't have the defensive talent to line up play after play after play with Debo, with Brandon Ayuk, with Juwan Jennings, with CMC, with Elijah Mitchell, with George Kittle. Like, I just named 6 players. I didn't get to Trent, who's the best player on offense. So, you know, you don't have 6 people that can cover. They can shut down, you know, Pro Bowl, all-pro players. You don't have 6.
We arguably
do. So that's, to me, the answer. And to me, you would say, okay, well, Smith made the play last year in the NFC Championship. Yeah, but let's be real. I put that on Kyle. Kyle challenges that play. Y'all don't even score on that drive. And we're looking at a totally different game.
Yeah, momentum switched backs over to us because we had kind of the momentum going at that point.
Exactly. Because especially if they don't get that touchdown, Brandon Ayuk gets open on that big play. Not only why I think that I was excited and why I thought scoring, like shutting them down and scoring first, especially like, you know, 10-0, 14-0, 17-0, would be because in the Eagle, that home field advantage turns against you. We've seen it happen plenty of times. So yeah, we've seen the beauty of it, and from their perspective, we saw the beauty of it. Of, oh, you know, everybody, you know, fly Eagles fly and everything like that. You feel me? But you're up 17-0. You know, midway through the second quarter, that stadium
it should have been probably 17-10.
Yeah, like, anyway, I can't. So before we wrap up here and everything like that, week 1. Let's go to UFAs. Yeah, go ahead. My bad.
No worries. That's why I threw it up there. So this is the guys that we signed after the draft. Obviously, we got Spence Wage, D-line, Deshaun Jameson, cornerback, another DB, and Avery Young, and then a linebacker from Minnesota, Mariano Sori-Marin. For some reason, I really like his name.
Yeah,
and I will get any chance I can to put UFA on the screen.
Yeah, UFA.
For those of you that don't know, Ufa is basically fuck you in Samoan. So there you go. So
there you go.
any chance
Love
I
it.
get to put that on the screen, I will put it there.
I mean, nobody screams. I mean, Spencer Wage, I've heard people be intrigued by him.
Yeah, he's
I
probably the
mean,
biggest name.
We'll see. To me, like I go through that list, that same DN list that we've seen, and I say, okay, am I taking you over Kerry Hyder? Probably not.
No.
So
Again,
we'll see.
camp bodies.
Camp bodies. We'll see.
You know,
And
maybe one of these guys will sneak through if there's a couple injuries on there. You know, like for Spencer Wage, maybe he gets on, 2 or 3 ends go down with injuries, week 6, 7, something along that. He has to come up and play a month. Okay.
And especially that we say, let's be real, this team is good at finding diamonds in the rough through the undrafted free agent market. Yeah. So we have to take it seriously in the sense that say, okay, we can't completely write these players off. But
we just talked about the linebackers. Do we see Mariano cracking in there anywhere?
No.
You know what I mean? So that he goes back down to, a practice squad player, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with being a practice squad player.
I don't see any of the DBs making it.
No. Same thing with it's the same thing with when we signed Allen to a contract. If Allen is on the field playing, there's been some issues. There's quite a few people going down. We've got other things to worry about than how good is our fourth string quarterback. If we're on our fourth string quarterback, I'm not worried about his play per se. I'm more worried about everything else that's going on around the quarterback position.
I mean, we all don't like to admit it, but basically our championship hopes, regardless of Jimmy trotting back out there or not, were fucked when Brock Purdy went down last year. The game wasn't fucked. I still believed we could have won that game.
Yeah, agreed.
But shit, like we were not trotting the field with even Josh Jacobs. We're not trotting on the field with Josh Jacobs and beating Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. That just wasn't happening.
No.
Like, faithful till I die, but
he's too good.
I swear to God, I will get a fucking tattoo of his face if that happened. Like, I swear to God. Anyway, real quick before we get out of here. Jason, real quick. Week 1, do they make Niners? Like, when is Niners Eagles?
There's been a lot of talk that it's week 1 and just put it on like prime time, like the Sunday night or the Monday. Kind of like, what they did with the whole Russell Wilson and the Seahawks. Just put it up there. Make us go there week 1 and get it there and then put all the drama into it. And I'm for it if this is going to be week 1.
If they won the Super Bowl, that the Thursday night game would be Niners Eagles.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been a fact.
Yeah.
Like that just would have been set in stone. The NFL would be tripping if they did. And one thing, regardless of whatever you feel about the NFL, is you cannot argue about how they market their business.
Yeah.
Like the NFL is not stupid. They would have put the Eagles with the Super Bowl. They put Eagles Niners.
Oh, without a doubt. No way for nothing. It's week
and that
1.
would be the most security, like, oh my.
Well, it's just like with the Seahawks game or the Seahawks and the Broncos. I was arguably more interested in that game because of all the drama going on.
Of course.
And like you said, they marketed it perfectly. Now they can do the same thing with a Monday night game. The Eagles with Javon Hargrave going back to Philadelphia, the team that he was on, blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, you can write that same story, just change the teams and the players, and it's the same thing. You market it the same way.
If you pump it up, like if you want fired, let's go week 1, and just wow in week 1,
that is your
fine. But to me, what would make it the best is and this is where it's a dice roll. Week 1 is going to be a slam dunk. It's going to be amazing. Ratings are through the roof. Everything's going to be fine. If you wait till later in the season, some type where home field, because let's be real, you're going to assume it's us and Eagles battling through home field advantage this year.
Yeah.
And you have that, like, week 17, I think would be too much. But, like, if you do it like week 15, Christmas, make it the Christmas game.
I don't know. I think it burns out because the season gets kind of long at that point and everything's kind of settled. And at that point, you're starting to play for playoff position kind of to an extent. So I think they got to do it week 1.
But I'll admit, besides it being a home game, which is going to bring my first game as a season ticket holder, all that. If you said the Niners are starting on the road this year, yeah, that probably the biggest road game I would be fired up for. Minus if we said, "Hey, bro, we're going out to Seattle."
Yeah,
one of those two would be the only one I would be like, "Yeah, we're going."
Huh? Yeah, there'd be a lot of fuck you. We proved this to you that we're one way or the other. Either the Eagles proved they were the better team from the NFC Championship game, or we proved that we could have whooped your ass if we had a quarterback the whole time. So
I only want it. See, truly, my thing about it is I only want it if Brock's healthy.
But he won't be. I really don't think Brock's gonna be.
And that's why I don't want week 1.
So you're saying you don't trust Trey to go out there?
It's not gonna be the same. I'm not saying that. Steve, why you gotta go like? Okay. Do I believe that Trey Lance can go mano a mano and win that game? No. Do I believe Trey Lance can be a part of that win? Yeah. But see, and the thing about it is, we do have to be cautious with Brock because at the end of the game, it was what, 8 games? So, let's be cautious. Okay, fine. But, I've seen Brock do it. And you and me talked about it. We talked about it through this and the process of, okay, well, he hasn't done this. And, well, he didn't really win the shootout. And then you had the Raider game. And then it was the playoff. You know what that Cry Girls game reminded me of? It reminded me of a very Joe game. Where he didn't have the best game. Look at plenty of Joe's games. He doesn't have the greatest games.
He shows up when he needs to.
But when he needed to, that third quarter drive that we admitted, that third quarter drive won us that game. Brock showed up. He did not.
That's the biggest difference that I like out of Brock that we haven't even, and we haven't seen a lot out of Trey, obviously, because
4
he hasn't given a chance. Yeah. But I like the mocks that Brock brings compared to the laid back Trey Lance. You know what I mean? And neither way is bad. There's different ways of leading, but there's something about just seeing somebody like Brock, who he's pounding on his arm, jumping up and down.
I think it fits this team.
Exactly.
I think
I would love to see Trey bring that. That's the one thing that you really never saw.
And the thing about it is, Brock's got that because of the confidence he's had, because he's played and he's had this success. Let's be real. Trey had 1 year of success, and then what?
They took almost 2 years off.
What can Trey Lance point to say if he walks in if he did that, if he just walked and and was doing all that, what can he point to? Brock can at least point to college. And that's my but personally, I get what you're saying. Personally, I think it fits this football team better because we are not a laid back football team.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Our tight end literally bashes his head into the wall before every game.
Look at the way they come out of the tunnel.
Yeah, it's and what I love about the Niners is everything's planned because it's not a coincidence that the 2 players that lead the team out of the locker room every game are Trent Williams and Deebo Samuel, who you would say are probably the 2 most physical players on this football team. To set the tone. What has Kyle always said when Deebo hurt his foot and he came back to practice? I remember Kyle said, Deebo just brings a different energy to practice. Practice has a different energy when Deebo is on the field because Deebo brings that to this football team. That's
the one thing I want to try. I want to see him be that hype man, if you were.
I want him. What I would love for Trey is if he took this, and I understand it's a fine line, but act like it's your football team.
Yeah.
Act like it's your football team. Act like you're the 3rd overall pick. You know what? Because what do you really have to lose?
No, I mean, Don't worry about money.
I
man.
really don't.
If you get hurt or you suck, big deal. Who cares?
Yeah.
You're good.
What,
You'll
you
be
go
fine.
out there and it's clear and everybody says Trey just ain't the one? It's not like Trey's gonna get another chance in the league.
Maybe.
I think so. He'll be a backup somewhere, or if the Niners cut him today, Trey Lance would be on a roster.
Well, yeah, you're talking about the cutting him versus if he goes out there and just stinks it up. You know what I mean? Well, I shouldn't say again, but
I
mean, if he goes out there and he ends up being Jamarcus Russell bad or some shit like that, I don't know if he gets another.
But see, I don't
chance.
think he would be that bad.
No, I don't think he is either. I still think he has a chance to lead this team and be great. I'm just saying, for some reason, if he ends up being, that kind of bad, I don't know if he gets another shot. He may have to wait a while. It might be something where
not to be a starter, but to be on a roster at least. Yeah. Like, see, this is the problem. Is that ultimately this is the problem with Trey. Is I don't think we're ultimately going to he's going to get the chance here to prove it because the timelines don't mesh. The timelines don't mesh because he doesn't have the opportunity to even play through whatever and just, hey, I'm going to go through my rookie up and down or whatever and get enough playing time to even prove whether he has it or not. Because that was last year. And this is the cold part of the NFL. What have you done for me lately? Last year, the Niners were willing. They were willing to die on the Trey Lance, And this year, they can't. Because at least they could look at the football team last year and say, well, what are our other options? Now, ultimately, they created another option when they signed Jimmy. And we ultimately never know if they would have gone to Jimmy or not. But they can't do that this year when they can point at Brock and say, we've seen him do it. Regardless of the hope of Trey Lance, regardless of what did you see? Basically him playing running back in Arizona. The Houston game, which he improved and looked pretty damn good in that second half. A monsoon in Chicago.
And broken after what, 4-6 plays, whatever it was?
Yeah. And a quarter I think it's not like I think he got hurt on like the 9th offensive play. But regardless, I've seen it with Brock, or at least enough to say Brock deserves his chance on this football team. Yeah. Now, if Sam Darnold comes out and lights it up,
well, I was going to bring that up. What do you think about what Miyoko said about him? I think the Niners are more into Darnold than they're letting on. I really do think that.
I think this is how I think people would look at Trey. I can fix him.
Yeah, but do you think that they're higher on Darnold than Trey? I almost think that that's the way they're.
I think so.
With the way, because I think
why would you bring Sam Darnold in?
Yeah.
Specifically Sam Darnold, who we all know that you loved. If Trey Lance, if they wanted to set this up for Trey, you could have bring in Andy Dalton. You could have brought in somebody, cooked the books, but had a competition, but cooked the books for Trey. Had a competition, I think
Matt Ryan.
You ultimately want to know what it is he's not the runner that they thought he was. Kyle said he wanted Drew Brees mixed with Lamar Jackson. That's not who Trey Lance is. Trey Lance isn't Drew Brees mixed with Lamar Jackson. And I think ultimately Kyle was sold on the idea of, hey, you get the dual threat quarterback and everything. But now he's like, well, I tried that. It's not working. I just need somebody with a little bit of mobility. I mean, look at Brock.
Yeah,
if anybody looks at Brock and Trey's the one you would believe would be the third overall pick, and Brock would be Mr. Irrelevant. But I mean, so ultimately, I think they think Sam Darnold will be the backup starter if Brock can't go, all that. Now, will it play out? I mean, some people would tell you got 50, what was it, 56 games, 65 games, something like that, of Sam Darnold.
Darnold's been terrible.
That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
So a lot of people would say, so that tells you, that would be my argument. If I was a Trey Lance fan, I would say, so I have 56 games or enough of a sample size. We won't put a game, but enough of a sample size to say Sam Darnold is garbage. I know that Trey Lance is better than that, or at least you take the garbage because you're just like, hey, at least we have the benefit of the upside, the unknown. That's my argument. So I think ultimately that it'll play out that Trey will be better than Sam Darnold, or at least the shittier option. But I don't believe that they believe that until they've seen it. Because why? Because Kyle's a coach, and it's I can fix him. If he just does what I tell him to.
Yeah.
So, you know, he was with the Jets, enough said. You know, and Carolina with Matt Rule. And you know what?
He lost
Maybe
his
CMC.
job to Baker Mayfield in July after Baker was traded. Baker just walked in and took it from him.
Okay, so do you believe CMC signed off on this?
I don't think he had a say in it, to be honest. I really don't.
Okay.
I think that
Dude, I feel a lot
liked
better.
from they've liked him for so long that if CMC said he was terrible, you know, I think that was irrelevant, honestly.
Okay, well, we can talk about whether that's an issue or not, but then I think, and then to me, if Trey is clearly still better, or like I said, the less shittier option, and Kyle's still sticking with Sam Darnold, well, then that becomes an issue.
Yeah.
If Sam Darnold proves that he's the better quarterback or the least shittier option, then I'm all for Sam Darnold being the starting quarterback for this football team.
See, it's with
I just
Trey
don't think that will happen.
Third overall, I think he doesn't necessarily have to be better. He has to be much better. And I think, unfortunately for him, that's the way it has to be. Like, it can't be, a toss-up or 60-40. It has to be like 80-20 for how much better you are than Brock or Sam Darnold. I think it has to be that much of a jump in production. It can't just be a quick toss-up.
I think that's semi-fair. That's semi-fair in the sense that in the improvement, not the consistency. I don't need to see it every play, but at some point in time, Trey has to show improvement.
Yeah.
The coaches have to have something to still have hope on. And if he's still airmailing half of his passes him, so just start with that. If Trey doesn't airmail a single pass in practice, I'll start with that. That's an improvement. That's something that he can do, I think, without being on a football field.
You're setting a low bar, though, aren't you, with that?
Well, no, I'm just saying. Well, that's what I'm doing. I've been trying to purposely say. Then you move up. Okay, cool. Well, he should have the playbook. If Trey Lance doesn't know the playbook by now, we have serious fucking issues.
Oh, yeah.
So, but no, if you would say, if I put my money on it, who the Niners think is going to win this, and if it's not Brock Purdy lining up under center week 1, it's going to be Sam Darnold. I do. I hope not. I hope I hope ultimately that it's Trey and Brock, and then you let them battle it out next year, you know? But
I don't think it's going to be. I think they're making it look more and more like it's going to be Darnold. I really, like I said, I don't want it that way per se, but it really looks like it.
Okay, so fine. So is that then what? Then why is that? Is it that Trey looks that bad, or does Sam Darnold look that good? I mean, and at very minimum, at OTAs, we're not even talking about training camp. So ultimately, I think it'll be Trey because I think Sam will lose the job. I think Sam Darnold will regress to the mean. You feel me? I think it's enough of a sample size that it was like, look, either it's Kyle Shanahan and Kyle Shanahan saved his career. You know, that is a possibility. Or Sam Darnold is what we thought he were. You know, insert Danny Green quote here. But anything else, bro?
No, that's it. You know, just looking forward to the schedule on Thursday so we can start making plans
Yep.
for what we're going to do for next year.
We're going to have an exciting show. We'll officially be able to put a countdown on it.
Indeed, finally. Oh, I mean, it's weird that we still got like 3 months, but it's just like we're finally getting something.
Okay. Am I tripping, or if they haven't announced the preseason schedule, right?
They haven't done anything yet, except who we're playing.
Am I tripping, or did they used to release the preseason schedule first, then the regular season, right? Or am I tripping?
I don't remember.
All right, I'll look that up, and maybe I'm tripping. But all right, bro. Well, we'll see you next week. Yeah, we'll definitely be starting to make some plans.
Yep. Deuces. Everybody will.
Yay. All right, y'all. We'll go ahead and end the show. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Before we get out of here, of course, we got to remind everybody to help out Niner Faithful Radio by using our shop49ers.com affiliate link. Link is available in the description of this podcast or video. Go to SeatGiant.com. Use the promo code Niner Faithful Radio to save all your theater, concert, and sporting event tickets, as well as help out the show. Follow us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Tumblr at Niner Faithful Radio and Twitter at Niner Faithful R. To see everywhere you can subscribe, go ahead and visit NinerFaithfulRadio.com/subscribe. And the coupon code for 10% off of For the Faithful by the Faithful apparel is The New Hope. We shall see y'all next week for the schedule breakdown. Till then, faith, love, and happiness. Go Niners.
Weiss has just set a Super Bowl record with 12 catches. He's in motion. Montana. Touchdown, John Taylor.
See ya.